Hey guys, Brian from MBK Reptiles here. Now today we're going to go through a bunch of baby hatchling corn snakes. So basically what we're going to do is we had a bunch of corn snakes that hatch out. We put them in moss and then they go through their shed process about like 7 days after that they're born. Once they shed, we put them one by one, but the trick is that we got to identify them. Now I'm going to explain to you how I go through that process, and the process is actually that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I might be doing this for so many years, but it's always very, very difficult to identify clutches and to identify babies. I mean, it's very difficult. So what we do is we use our experience and what we know, and I always say that I identify by comparison. Now the beautiful thing is that with corn snakes, we have a ton of babies, so it's much easier to identify the babies. When it comes to like ball pythons and you have a chance of getting 200 different combinations, it's a little bit trickier, but we always do our best, and that's all that matters. But the truth is, until you breed them, until you've proven those actual genes, you can't really be 100% sure. We do promote what it is. So many times I thought I was 100% sure, but I was not. So we'll dig right into it. We'll see a bunch of cool snakes, and then I'll even like put a few away. So first of all, we have a clutch of corn snakes, which is actually really, really cool. I'm just gonna verify, but this is basically a white out corn snake with I believe was a charcoal het blood. So we have, out of here, we have some albinos. Here, they're albinos, but we might also have some albino bloods. Now you can see here, there's this one right here has a very, very red head, where this one right here has a very white head. So odds are that this white one here is a fire. So we look at the belly pattern, and then there's no real pattern on the belly, which is also another sign of the fire gene, where this one here, there's the checkered pattern. I don't know if you can see it properly. Yeah, exactly. So this would be just an albino corn, and the other one would be an albino blood, AKA fire. This one's a little bit trying to eat you. So here we have just the normal regular corn. So that's the same again. Nothing special. The bottom, they have the checkered pattern on the belly, which defines the animal very well. Now,
so tell us the pairing of this one again.
So this one is a whiteout, which is a albino blood charcoal with a charcoal het albino, which het blizzard blood as well, because we have blood. So it would be like a het whiteout. Now, I'm looking at all these different ones, and then I see some of the ones that have like this little gray head, so which is something that is defined by the bloods. So if I pick out this little one here, you can see the belly. It's all like, there's no checkered on it, so it's all white, and there's a lot of the redness going through. Now, there's two different types of bloods, so we call them bloods, but they're actually diffused. So the diffused gene is for me is very confusing. Since I've been a kid, we've been used to dealing with the blood reds, which basically all blood reds are diffused, but not all diffused are blood reds. So this can become a little bit challenging when we identify certain clutches. Now up in here we have some different anery looking ones. Now these anery looking ones are the charcoals. The charcoals is basically another type of anery, and then we can look if we have any charcoal bloods, but we actually are very lucky. There is one right here. So this is a charcoal blood. A little bit harder to showcase these guys. Nice. So how do we know? Wow. This guy loves
Show your finger, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it's out. And then you see the belly. The belly's all white. So that's how I would identify that one as being a charcoal blood. Now the end result are these blizzards. Now all the white snakes that you see in this clutch are blizzards, but there are some that are whiteouts, which would be the blizzard blood, being albino, charcoal, and blood. Now I would check at the belly as well. Now this is where it gets tricky, because the blizzard, you could see the checkered, but it's very, very yellow. Like the checkered would be yellowish and white, which is very, very hard to do. So we're very lucky that we are actually quite young, and our vision is quite pretty good, that we're able to see if they are indeed blizzards or not. But as they grow a little bit more, we're able to tell a little bit better and see a little bit more pattern, but we try to identify them as much as we can. Right now, the lighting that I have right now is not that great, so that's where it is. But yeah, so we have regulars, bloods, charcoals, albinos, charcoal bloods, albino bloods, blizzards, and whiteouts, all in one clutch.
Cool beans.
Pretty awesome, right? So let's get to the second one. Now, second one is a scaleless clutch. I'm gonna have to look at this one. I'm not 100% sure which one it is.
Ooh, and they look fantastic.
We have Tessera Het Scaleless Caramel Diffuse Stripe. A lot of stuff in there. And then with a Caramel Het Scaleless Butter Stripe. Now, this point here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to have Tessera Caramel Scaleless, either with stripe or not. So that's our main goal. Now, luckily enough, we proved that basically the male in this clutch was het albino as well. So like, another thing that makes corn so amazing is that they're het for everything. You don't even know what they're het, but they're het for everything. So you're always lucky that you have like some pairings that come out, that you prove some stuff out. So every year you go through your adults and then you add like different genes that they carry, which is cool for the future pairings.
So it's important to know your genetics because you can pop up some weird stuff all the time.
It's definitely awesome, but at the same time, it always makes everything confusing. So this is what it looks like. Now here we have, there's a little baby here that hasn't shed quite yet, but you can see that there's a little bit of, this is just a normal looking animal right here. We have here a caramel, just a regular caramel. There's one here that has actually shed and it looks very good. So the caramel almost look like normals, but they just don't have any redness coloration to them. They're like, that was a nice flip.
Yeah, I know, right?
So these just don't have any redness to them. They have like this little green and yellow tint, and they look just simply beautiful. They definitely look better when they're crossed like with the scaleless, because they make them a lot greener, which is pretty cool. Now we have here, this would be just see, this is where it gets a little bit confusing. So here would be like this is a caramel tessera. It hasn't shed yet, so we don't really see as much of the green, but this one here is a caramel striped tessera. This one is so much more green and yellowish. That's how they would be identified. We're gonna look at this one here. See, yeah, that's exactly where it is because it has no redness to them. It's still beautiful. We have some tesseras right here, which these are tessera stripes. So the tesseras usually have freckles on the side where these ones do not.
So the stripe cleans out the tessera.
Exactly.
Have a nice head too. Show us that.
Look at this. All right here.
Nice.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then we have, luckily we got, so this is where we proved it out. So this is the butter. So this is a albino caramel tessera. Butter tesseras are awesome. I love how yellow butter corn snakes are. Like, it's very rare that you see this type of yellow in snakes. It looks really, really cool. And yeah.
Too bad the stripe did not hit on this one. It would have been awesome.
Well, not on that one. Yeah, exactly. But here, this is the best one of the clutch. So we're lucky, like we're able to get one out here. So this one here is a butter tessera stripe. So it's a little bit hard on the scaleless to notice the stripe, but you can look at the belly. So the motley and stripe gene complex, they always have white bellies. So the scaleless definitely make it easier for us when they still carry the scales on the belly, so we can at least like identify snakes a little bit more because of the pattern. So this one with the scales being all white, it makes it really, really cool.
Should explain to someone who doesn't know why there's a crack in the middle of the belly where the scales are split.
Why the scales are split? Well, I mean, the first thing with the scaleless corn is that the scaleless corn first happened, like it's a mutation. So I mean, it's a deformation where they start losing the scales. Now, why is it that a lot of them have belly scales? Well, the belly scales is actually the most important scales because it's one thing that helps them slither around, right? So that's usually the last part of the scales that will disappear. Now the ventricle scales, that are the belly scales, are split into two. So it's like the middle line just goes right through. It's pretty epic.
So you only see that in scaleless.
Exactly. And then you can see them even like pinpoint, like the belly. Like there in the tail, there's like the middle row has no scales. Oh, nice.
That's lovely.
This is so cute. So we have that. And then to end this clutch, we have just a normal scaleless corn as well, which are always so beautiful. How they look. The pattern vary on them, so that's one of the things that this scaleless is really, really cool and known for, is because the pattern and the color on the skin is not exactly the same as it would have if it would have scales. And then you can see the belly being all different colors. And then you see like some spots that don't have any scales. Really, really cool. On this here, so this is awesome. Now, we're gonna basically showcase to you one of our really, really exciting projects. So these are blood pied side scaleless with a blood pied side het scaleless, and we haven't hatched out like many of the blood pied side scaleless, but they're one of our favorites, and they're so amazing. They look just like simply cool. So I mean, look at this out. Look how bright these animals are. So we were lucky. We had a good ratio of scaleless versus hets. We only have 2 hets, which are these here. So these are blood pied side het scaleless. These guys are very, very low expression pied sides. So when you look at them, they have like a little bit of the white going on, but this is the normal blood belly that you would have, which are really cool. So now I'm wondering if they're actually all pied sides, because there's not much white coming out on them. So it's possible that one of the ones weren't. It's not. But look at this one here. So this is a scaleless, and this one is a blood pied side. So you can see they call it blood pied side because basically the white from the belly just goes up the sides, so it creates this pied side pattern, which is really cool. So these, again, these are low expression. They don't have too much white, but you see that this one here has a little bit more white. Here you can see right here has a nice white patch. So as this animal grows, that white's going to become like cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. So we have this little one here. This one is really, really nice. Oh, yeah. So this is like half of the snake is just white. I love how their coloration, the red is just so crisp on them. It's beautiful. This little guy here is halfway through his shed. Come here, boy. So you can see like the different colorations, how crisp the top is, and then the bottom's like this. So we would go here, we would just help remove them slowly. Just help remove the skin off. And it comes right off, like, because they were in moss, it's very, very easy to just help them through. So we go through that if ever they haven't shed. I mean, if I would put this animal in its bin, it would shed by himself, but since we're at it, why not just help it out? Give it its new paint job. Refreshing. There we go. Almost done. Just the little tip of the tail. Okay. And here we go. All clean and ready to go. So this one is a pretty simple clutch to identify. There's only like really 2 different ones. We're just gonna have to try to figure out to see if they were actually all indeed pied side. These don't look pied side to me, but still, nonetheless, amazing looking bloods, and they're all 100% het for scaleless, which is pretty cool. All right, now last clutch for today. We're gonna basically be putting away right away the clutch. So we have this special one. So this one I haven't put aside right away. but we have a salmon het palmetto, salmon snow het palmetto with a het palmetto male. Now they prove to be both het motley's as well, which is cool. When it comes to palmetto, I mean the palmetto is the Dalmatian snake, right? So it's just a white snake with spots on. With salmon snow, when there's snow into them, they're all white. Now I was hoping last year I made that pairing as well, because I was hoping salmon snows being like so pink that it would be like a white snake with pink spots on them, which would be just simply amazing. But unfortunately, after like a year, we're still trying to figure out where those spots are. So they're just crisp white. So it seems like there's like basically a compatibility with snow and palmetto, meaning that they all make a fully white snake, but they still have the genetics and they're really, really amazing. So here is your clutch right here. So we have here, we have just some normals. Those are all possible het palmettos. It's nothing really, really fancy. So we have 1, 2, 3 here. We have a albino possible het palmetto. See, some more normals. These things get tricky because they run around everywhere, you know. But I'm gonna put a few aside right now. I'll let you guys. Oh, look at you. So we just basically set them up. I'll just put a few in the bins. We're gonna add them some water afterwards, and we start feeding them right away. Whoa! Sorry for the little one I dropped. Oh, here we go. There we go. So I leave them just a little bit open until we do that, and then yeah. This little room that we're in now is pretty crazy. We have it fits about 750 babies. And the truth is we're more than halfway in. We've already gone through the whole process, and it's gonna be completely filled up soon enough. So we have some more regulars. We have some albinos right here. There's another albino. There's one crawling up the camera. Sometimes we test our patience, right? Come on. And here we go. So we have that. Then we have, oh, these are cool. So these are albino motleys, and they're possible het palmettos compared to a motley possible palmetto. We have a few of these. And then another albino. So we're gonna put this one away. Albino away. We have the little motley that will decide to go. Come on, bud. There we go. So it gets really tricky sometimes because when you're cleaning them, it's like they just jump right out of the bins as you open the bins. So it tests your patience when you're doing this for a full day, cleaning these animals.
How long does it take to clean this entire room when it's full?
It probably takes a full day, so a full 8 hours.
Oh yeah.
To do that. So we try to split them up in probably in 2 days, just because it gets tiring. But we try to spot clean as much as we can as we go through them, because even though we're cleaning them once a week, we also have to make sure that we feed them. Now the feeding schedule is a little bit crazy, because if we wait too long and we just follow like a weekly schedule, these snakes stay here forever. So our goal is that we have to give them a few meals so that we can start wholesaling animals, because we produce so many of them. And the truth is, we have a second clutch coming up, and we don't have room to keep every animal like in bins. So we try to like do a rotation and try to sell off like and wholesale a bunch of the first ones, and then after that we move on. So now this is where it gets fun. So these are the 3 snakes that we have been waiting for. So these are 3 palmettos. We have this is just a regular palmetto. This palmetto, how I would tell is that there's some gray spots on them, and then there's also some red spots. So I know that it's not a nannery. And the other 2 are actually albinos. Now, how I would say that they're albinos, well, this one here, for example, there's like a little tiny red spot here. So if it would be a snow, it wouldn't have any spots.
Also, they have red eyes.
And they have red eyes. Where this one here, same thing. There's like 2 little tiny scales up here. So it's pretty good because those scales, as they're gonna get bigger, those little red spots are gonna get bigger as well, and we're gonna notice them a little bit more. So this is really cool. I love the palmettos. They're probably one of my favorite corn snakes, and they're definitely one of like fan favorites because they're so cool. They do remind us of a Dalmatian.
Your son has one that he really likes, right?
Yeah, so basically my first ever palmetto I got was back in 2014, and basically my oldest son Rafael was born on that same year, and he's been growing up with it ever since. It's been his first snake that he picked up, and he loves it, and every year he comes, every week basically he comes in, picks it up, and asks me questions. Oh, is there babies? Is there any cool thing that my female gave? And it's really, really cool. So we're having a lot of fun with that. So that's it. So that's basically the process that we do. So we did 4 clutches. So we only put 1 away right now, but we have the 3 previous ones that I have to put away. We've pretty much identified them all, which is pretty good. The truth is, I have about 50 more to go. So this whole room is going to be completely full by the end of the week, and we're already going to get out of the room and we're going to be overwhelmed. But that's the baby season. It's the fun part, and we love it. So thanks for bearing with us. If you like videos like this and you want more videos, make sure you comment. Let us know what type of snakes you guys want to do. Maybe we were thinking maybe doing some lives. Is that something that would interest you for us to do some live maybe on Instagram, so that we're able to showcase you whatever you want to see at that moment. We have so many different babies. We can't showcase everything on videos. So the more you guys comment and let us know what it is that you want, we're definitely going to share it with you guys. So make sure you subscribe, you like this video, and until then, love to share the passion and educate you guys, and no stress.